welcome to the podcast, Rob.
It's good to be here.
Yeah. Really good to have you on. So just tell us about, what's your role at Next?
So my role at Next, I'm the site manager for Stadium, which is Next's hanging warehouse.
And so we've got a warehouse just for hanging?
Yeah.
Nothing else?
Nothing else really, no.
Yeah.
It's a highly automated warehouse that looks after fulfilment of product that has to be dispatched on a hanger. So we're talking formal wear, occasion wear, and we're also talking our total platform client REISS.
Oh, okay. Oh, so we have Total Platform amongst that as well. Yeah. Oh, okay. So is that the one? I think I've been there before. Is that the one that looks like the Monsters Inc. warehouse because everything's like, do you know the doors from the film where it's all moving around and stuff? Yeah.
That's the
one. That's the one. And when did you? What sort of size is that? How big is that operation at Stadium?
So Stadium is two warehouses combined, joined by a tunnel, and it's 1.4 million square feet. So just to put that in perspective, 1.4 million square feet is like the Meadowhall shopping centre in Sheffield.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
it's big.
It's a big old place, yeah.
And that's just one of our warehouses, yeah.
Yes,
yeah.
Just one of the warehouses.
And being a site manager, is that right?
Yes.
Yeah. What's that involved then, managing that sort of size of space?
So, a site manager role, it's quite a broad spectrum in terms of the role. So it's, for example, first and foremost, it's leading the team to make a workplace that's safe and where people's well-being is promoted. All things like that, make sure there's nice facilities on site. It's also making sure the team of people there are happy, engaged, they understand how their role fits within the success of Next and why what they do is important.
Yeah.
It's also making sure that costs are controlled, making sure that we're continually looking for improvements in processes so that we can deliver at an optimal cost, and then we can pass on those savings to customers and get our price point as accessible as possible. And then it's also looking at service, making sure that we are delivering to Mrs. Smith with a gold star service to make sure we protect the reputation of the brand.
Wow. So not too much to cover there.
It's a broad role.
Yeah, it's a big broad role. And have you got a team of people at that one warehouse that's supporting all of that?
Yeah, there's a leadership team within Stadium.
Yeah.
And obviously there's the job roles are carved up to make sure that we deliver.
Nice. And how many? So you've got all these things hanging for Next, whether it's suits and do you have coats and that as well?
Some of the coats.
Some of the coats, all of that, and all of the REISS product as well.
Yep.
What sort of quantities are we talking here? Like,
so to replenish our retail stores, we're talking probably 110,000 units a week, and then to deliver online for online customers, that's probably 200,000 units a week. So
and by unit you mean individual
garment, yes.
A week.
A week.
So that's a lot of orders. So you're getting through about 300,000 then for a week, both with retail and online combined.
It's big numbers, yes.
Big numbers. And what sort of so you say there was a lot of automation in there, obviously, but I guess there's still people in there as well, is there?
Yes.
Yeah.
So there are people in there to handle the intake deliveries. So when it comes from supplier, sometimes we will need to take the product out of a box, present it onto a hanger, and then we put it, for example, through a steam tunnel to make sure it's presentable.
Okay.
And things like that. Most of the process is automated. So from storing the product and then picking the product, that's normally dealt with by the automation. But then we need dispatch teams to present it onto trailers to make sure it then goes onto either our RSC network or to every or our carrier to deliver to home.
Okay, and what's an RSC network? Sorry.
So RSC is our regional service centres.
Right.
So we've got those strategically placed around the UK, and we'll send deliveries in there, and they will look after the store network that, for example, is in the catchment area around Bristol, around Hemel.
Right. So so everything does go from
that central stadium from a hang-in.
Yes.
But then they have hubs as well.
Then there's hubs to make sure. Yeah. So the delivery will be made to Bristol, and then from Bristol the deliveries will be split down and then dispatched out to. Do you know what I mean? We might a van might go out and deliver to 5 stores within Bristol.
Got you. So more efficient way of working.
Yes, yeah.
I guess, yeah. And what? How many sort of people are working in stadium? Then?
Stadium, we're talking probably 800 people to run stadium.
So massive employer in that local area then as well.
Yes.
Because you've also got you are for people that have either listened before or watched or anything. It's very close to the Elmsall complex.
Yeah, it's on the same industrial estate as
yeah.
Elmsall. So yeah, we're a big employer in the local area.
Yeah, which is great, isn't it? Because
Yeah.
it just has a huge impact on the community.
Yeah.
And like, I know going up there myself, there's so many. It's a proper community, isn't it?
It is,
Like,
yeah.
Yeah. And how did you get to where you are today then? Because I guess you didn't start as a site manager, did you?
No, so I've worked for Next for 16 years now.
Wow.
So I've worked for Next from the point that I graduated from university, and then I started at one of our warehouses called Dearne Valley Boxed as
Yeah.
a warehouse operative. And then from that point, I've done a variety of roles. So I've gone from being a warehouse operative to a training instructor, to a supervisor, duty manager, assistant site manager, deputy site manager, and then moved on to the site manager position.
Wow. Over that 16 years.
Over the course of that 16 years.
Wow. And what do you think kept you progressing, kept you here that long?
I've been really fortunate with my time with Next that when my job role and my responsibilities have grown with my development.
Okay.
So I've been very fortunate that when the time has been right, I've either been put in the right position or with the right person to mentor me.
Okay.
Or both.
Okay, brilliant. And what when you say mentoring, like what kind of things that been? Is that been with someone in a more senior role? Or
Yeah. Somebody more experienced just to almost show me the ropes and give me guidance on the way that they would do things.
Oh,
and that's definitely accelerated my development.
Oh, that's good then. And is that quite a common thing in distribution, in part of Next distribution? Then?
Yeah. There's lots of focus now on promoting the talent pipeline and making sure that we're giving people the right level of exposure. We're looking at what their skill gaps are and just taking positive steps to make sure that they're developing at a fast enough rate, and we've got people who are ready to move into the next role up throughout the network.
And I'm guessing you must really enjoy it, because if you've done something for 16 years, yeah, you've got to enjoy that.
Yes,
yeah.
I do enjoy it, and I think the thing with Next and how sort of progressive we are as a business and how we lean into change, it means that there's always new experiences, always new things to do. No 2 days are the same, and that's what keeps it fresh and interesting. It's not just doing the same set of tasks each day. We are moving forward.
Yeah, no, I like that. I like that phrase you said there, like leaning into change. I totally agree with that. We're never opposed to it, are we? Like, it's always, if there's an opportunity there, we'll take it, won't we?
Yeah, we're constantly looking for new ways to improve the quality of the product that we're offering, the choice of product that we're offering. We're looking at new ways in terms of making the processes more efficient so that we can offer that quality of product at a more accessible price point. It's really, really good.
What's the biggest thing from just in your world at the moment in terms of stadium? What's been some of the biggest improvements that you've seen recently there?
It's things like capacity improvements.
Yeah.
So looking at ways that we can make sure that stadium can keep up with the quantity of products that the buying teams want to bring in. So we've made some improvements, changed some process, and just make sure that we can keep up, because the buying teams are doing a great job in terms of selecting really quality product.
Yeah.
And the onus is then on stadium as a warehouse to make sure we can keep up with the increased imports volume and things like that. So yeah.
Yeah, I guess that's got to be it, isn't it? It's like collaborating with the rest of the business, because if you don't have the buyers bringing in the product, you can have an empty warehouse.
Yeah, that's it. There's definitely an optimum amount of stock that wants to be coming into stadium to make it as economic as possible. Also, things that we're looking at. We're doing a lot with sustainability at the moment.
Okay.
So we're looking at, for example, where we will dispatch an order to our store network.
Yeah.
So previously, we would put like an over shroud on the garment, so it'd have the supplier's sort of plastic packaging on it, and then we'd put like another sort of courier set of plastic over the top of it. But that's not really necessary, and it's a single-use plastic. So we've been exploring ways that we can apply the delivery note to the original supplier shroud, and then dispatch it like that. So we're just promoting sustainability in terms of just using less plastic, and there's a cost implication in there as well of not using so much plastic.
And that's great, isn't it? We're saving money, but also we're not using single-use plastic.
And definitely our customer base is becoming more discerning in terms of our business practices. So
okay, so it's becoming it's important anyway, but it's becoming more and more important to customers and the wider public as well.
Absolutely.
And you mentioned earlier there about REISS, which is a total platform client. Has that impacted Stadium? How's that been in terms of that all working? Has that been is that a real collaborative effort then?
It's a real collaborative effort, and it's a really good example how we allow REISS to continue to put their stamp and design their product and everything there, but it leverages the advantages of the platform. So we've essentially plugged REISS as a brand into the existing automation that we've got within Stadium. So we've got the diverse and quality REISS product that's then we're able to save a lot of money and keep costs down by using the same process that we've got for next orders.
Yeah, I think that's one of the advantages of total platform across the board, actually, not just in distribution, but especially in distribution, is that we're using that model that we know is so effective for these other brands.
Yeah, it's definitely economies of scale.
Yeah, and it's so attractive to those brands as well, isn't it?
Yeah.
You know, if you think about the infrastructure that we've actually got with distribution and logistics and stores, there's not many other brands in the UK that have got that set up.
No.
Well, I don't think anyone actually.
No, it tends to be a lot more manual, and
Yeah.
we're a lot more heavily automated.
Yeah.
Lots of clever innovation in our warehouses.
Yeah, definitely. So Stadium's one part of this network. What sort of scale what's that comparable to the rest of it then?
So in terms of the warehousing space that we've got, so total warehousing space is about 8 million square feet at the moment. So so to put that into perspective, that's 19 Wembley stadiums. And that's not just the pitch. That's the full stadium that you feed.
The outside bit.
The whole lot. It's 19 of those. Or another way to look at it, just to put it into perspective, is you could fit all of the casinos in Las Vegas into that space. So we're talking.
So the Strip. Yeah. The Las Vegas Strip is our warehouse infrastructure.
Yeah. That's the scale of it.
Yeah. Wow. And that's across. And how many? Because I remember we had Carl on a previous podcast. How many warehouses is that?
So that's 8 warehouses.
Yeah.
And it's 8,000 people.
Wow. Massive operation then.
Yeah.
Just massive. And does Stadium and do they all work with each other in order to deliver all of this? Yeah.
Yeah. There's really good collaboration there in terms of shared resource and support. Yeah. It's really good.
And then there'll be a site manager at each one of those warehouses as well, won't they?
Yes.
And is that your colleague? Is that like your colleague and peer network that you will work with then to learn from each other, or
Yes. Yeah. There's lots of. It's quite a close-knit. It's a close-knit team. There's lots of open dialogue. Communicate really well. There's shared resources, shared ideas, and ways of working. And generally speaking, once someone's got the best way of working, that'll be then shared around the network. So so almost, do you know what I mean? We don't have to learn from our own mistakes.
No.
It's Do you know what I mean? It's,
Yeah.
it's the best ideas are shared, and then we can move forward.
I mean, that's the perfect way of working, though, isn't it? Like,
Yeah.
you know, like share that with the group for you to then learn. You don't have to go and make that mistake, or you know, because we're all going to make them, aren't we?
Yeah.
Like, that's the thing.
Yeah, it's a really progressive way of working.
Yeah. Have you got an example you can think of in mind recently of one of those where someone's maybe gone, oh, I found this, or oh, why don't we do this, and then it's kind of passed on to everyone else.
Yeah, it's not particularly interesting example. I can give you one. So there's an idea that started at EMSL, which was it was looking for discrepancies on intake contracts. So where quantities of a contract had been put away, but then there was a mistake. So you might have had boxes that were quantities of 20, and then there was a 200 in there that was an outlier, and it wasn't really 200. It was actually 20. So if left unchecked, it would be possible that we could over-allocate to customers, but the physical quantity of that the garment in that box wouldn't exist, and then it could cause a fulfillment problem later down the line.
Yeah.
So one of the system teams has built a report that flags basically when they think there's an outlier, and then it reports, and then we can bring the stock out to check. So EMSL's had a good idea there in terms of what to do. That idea has then been spread around the other sites, and now there's one for hanging product, and now there's one for homeware product and everything like that. But it's one good idea that started in EMSL that's now been spread round and made sure that we're much less likely to create a service failure further down the line now.
Which I guess in the long term is going to either make money or save money, right?
And protect the reputation of the brand.
Yeah, and the reputation as well. Yeah, really, really important. And you mentioned there and before as well a lot about automation, and you mentioned the systems team. I guess with Stadium being hanging, and there's a lot of that. Do you work with them quite a lot then?
Yes, yeah. So we work closely with the system teams. We work closely with the automation provider. We've just got really open dialogue in terms of where we are, and sharing of ideas about how we think things could work better in the future. And it's another really good example of collaborative working towards delivering on a common goal.
And do you have to have as well people that are like actually, because I guess inevitably the machines might break, yeah? Do you have engineers and stuff as well?
We've got a really skilled and experienced engineering team on each site. So so Stadium's engineering team are great. They're really proactive. Again, open lines of communication in terms of when they think they need to do preventative maintenance on the pieces of equipment. So it's a really good relationship, and one that leads to minimise downtime and the automation delivering to its potential.
Yeah, no, definitely. And what kind of things are you excited about, like going forward? Because I guess there's so much going on at Next. Like I know, and you probably got some things that I don't even know. What else are you excited for?
I'm really excited about the opportunities for expansion. So now the new automated warehouse, the new EMSL 3 building,
which is our biggest one, isn't it?
Our biggest boxed automated warehouse. Now that is open, it opens up for the additional capacity that building will give, will allow us to further our international offering.
Okay.
Yeah, so we'll be able to push into new territories with that, and it'll also open the door up where we'll be able to offer Total Platform to new clients.
Wow! So more countries and more brands coming and working with us then. Yeah.
Yeah.
And how many? Do you know how? It might not be you. It might be more like the international side. But do you know how many? How does that work from a logistics and distribution point of view, doing that internationally? Does it still all start from there then?
It depends. It depends where the country is.
Right.
So we've got hubs in Ireland and in Germany and in the United Arab Emirates at the moment. But where we would push into a new country, say that might be America.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? The parcels will start off being delivered from from one of the UK warehousing places. And then I suppose once trade is then stable in those countries, then we might look at whether it's appropriate to build a hub.
Got you. And that's kind of been the blueprint, has it? I guess.
Yes.
Because I know there's certain countries, like for example, like Germany, that I think we started obviously delivering from here, didn't we? And then I guess that's just grown and grown and grown.
Yes.
And we've gone, right, we need a hub out there.
Yeah,
now.
and then because obviously when we've got the hub in Germany, we're able to deliver to Europe with a lower cost because the carrier costs are lower, and we're also able to offer a shorter delivery lead time to the customer as well.
Which is what they're going to probably want more in there.
Yeah, it definitely promotes sales.
Yeah, 100%. So we've got all of that internationally, and then you mentioned as well around E3 bringing in more brands. So the idea is to keep bringing those brands in, isn't it, as well? Yeah. Yeah,
just to keep leveraging the advantages of the platform, and again, economies of scale, trying to put more volume through the sites, and just realising that economy. Yeah,
100%. And if you were thinking about, like, say if someone's listening to this or thinking about, well, why should I bother joining Next, or bother joining Next Distribution? What do you think you'd say to them?
I'd say it's been, for my personal experience, I think it's been a great company to work for. It's a company where if you are prepared to apply yourself and put the effort in, it's a company that will always look to develop from within and also promote from within. So for people who are looking for a career, it's a really good place to come and work. As an example, so recently I've done an apprenticeship. With that Next has supported me with, and it was a level 7 in strategic management and leadership, and it's been brilliant. It was a suggestion from Next, but it's really helped me in terms of sort of broadening my horizons and teaching me new skills and things like that. So yeah, there's lots of good things there in terms of taking care of people's personal development and furthering the careers.
What kind of things is it broadened your mind to? Like, what kind of things have you discovered from it?
Making key takeaways are things like making sure that, for example, whenever I'm trying to deliver a project on site, making sure that project is presented and aligned with the goals of the company. So I'm really trying to explain, I'm not just explaining what I want someone to do, I'm explaining why it's important.
Yeah, really important. Yeah.
And a lot in there about really landing the communication strategy. So just making sure that the communications that we deliver on site, people can relate to it in terms of the message. It's taught me a lot about that.
Yeah, because sometimes as well, I totally agree with that, because if people understand the why, there's going to be more buy-in as well.
That's absolutely it, yeah.
100%, because if you're saying, look, we've got to do this and this is why, people can get behind that and really invest themselves into it. And as well, like you said, really important of not just saying it how maybe it's first been put forward or translated, but actually saying it in a way that that's applicable to people's roles, because all different roles, it impacts people in different ways. Like if you've got a site project, how an engineer's impacted to a operative is quite different, I'm guessing, isn't it?
Yeah.
So you've got to be able to articulate that. Yeah.
Yeah, it's really important as well. If you give people an understanding of the direction of travel, rather than just a surface level understanding of what I want them to do, they're much more likely to be able to make a decision on what to do if something out of the blue comes up.
Yeah, so true. It's really good that from what you've been saying in here as well, it's really good that I can tell that you've been given those opportunities of just keep coming along, and it just seems like you're lapping it up as well, which is great.
It's been a great company to work for, and really opened up a lot of opportunities for me.
Yeah, well, it's been really, really good having you on. I've really enjoyed hearing about the size again of,
of distribution. I think it's such a massive part of Next that people sometimes don't even think of.
Yeah.
And like when you're describing it as, you know, what was it, 19 Wembleys or the Las Vegas Strip
yeah.
or stuff like that. I think, you know, I think people start going, hang on a minute, where is this, you know? So, no, it's been really good to have you on, Rob, and to understand more about distribution. So thanks for coming on.
Yeah, thank you very much. Thank you for having me.